Hey guys, hope you guys are doing good. This is Sean from HZad Education. Today we're going to have day 6 out of 7. We're almost at the end of this wonderful crash course. I'm not bragging, okay, but this is the best course anywhere online. So anything that has to do with CELPIP, comprehensive summary, and crash course, you guys should really be listening to this whole series. Share it with your friends, listen to it again and again, the 7 days, and you will find lots of useful techniques. Um, and again, if you guys find some better resource, please provide that in the comments. But I know CELPIP and I haven't seen any person, any channel mentioning all these tips. So guys, once again, for your preparation, listen to this 7-episode series and share it with your friends, like and subscribe. It's gonna help you out and others out as well. Now, today we're gonna do listening because we have completed so far writing, speaking, vocab, grammar, and reading yesterday. So today, while we discuss listening, I am not going to explain the strategies. The reason is a lot of you have listened to them already on my channel. If you haven't, I'm going to put the links in the description below. I have a detailed version and a quick version. Please look at both of those. The detailed version is my longest video. It was about 30 minutes long that I put on listening. So you will find tons of strategies if you're looking for strategies. In CELPIP, note-taking is the way to go. So if you know how to take notes, you can do a good job. However, today I'm going to talk about how you can work on listening all by yourselves when you're at home, what kind of resources you should listen to, and how you can train your brain and ears to hear, as well as your hands to write, because you're going to take notes, lots of them. So once again, in CELPIP, let's get started. In CELPIP listening, the main idea is writing. The best students who get the best marks in listening are the ones who are taking lots of notes. In parts 1 to 3, I say listen more, avoid note-taking too much because you have to focus on listening. And they're quick parts. But from parts 4, 5, and 6, the more you write, the better it is, because it's so much that you won't remember everything. So you have to write down as much as you can. If you simply imagine writing everything down, everything is in front of you, and then they ask you a question, it will just all be on your notes. So the more you write down, the better it is. That's the secret. And there's, again, some techniques to take notes, and how you would do that, links are in the description. Okay, now let's get started with how you can practice this by yourself. Well, you can practice the free sample materials on Paragon. You can purchase materials from them. You can also purchase materials from us, but they mostly come as part of our classes. So if you want some if you want some coaching and then you want the free material as part of that, do let me know. My email is always in the description. Now, on your own, what you can do is not listen to news. A lot of people unfortunately think listening to news is a good thing. It is for English practice, not for CELPIP practice. It's a different thing. In CELPIP, you have 2 or 3 people talking, having a conversation, and questions are usually based on the way the conversation is done. So, how did this person feel? Is this person positive or negative? Or how did this person respond to that person? Like, now you need to know if they were happy with the other person or they're arguing. You need to know how people communicate. In order to know this, news is not a good source because you're just listening to one person talk. You should listen to 2 people talking naturally because CELPIP communication is natural. So when you are listening to the exam, you have people having expressions and phrases and idioms, day-to-day idioms. Do you guys know what it means when someone says, "Is that right?" Think about it. Is that right? So, you're a salesman and you're selling a car and you tell the person that you drive this car, it's going to make you feel like a millionaire. The other person says, "Is that right?" That's not really a question, okay? They're not really asking you, "Are you sure?" They're actually mocking you. It's sarcasm. "Is that right?" means, I don't believe you. You're just making up stuff. It's just a rhetorical sentence to say. So if you don't know that, if you don't know the expression, if you don't know the North American expressions, you will not get the idea in CELPIP because sometimes they're trying to have some comedy, which is really not that funny. And sometimes they're trying to be really serious with really, very, very focused expressions, very serious. So it's to the point sometimes. And you need to differentiate when we're being serious, when we're being sarcastic, when we're being funny. You would know this when you see communication and practice that between people. The best resources that you can have are interviews. Interviews on YouTube. Just type your favorite celebrity's name, whoever you want to listen to, and their interview. Okay, so Michael Jackson interview. Now you listen to two people talking, like late night TV shows like Conan O'Brien, Jimmy Kimmel, or Ellen, or Oprah. Now you hear people interacting, and they mostly are talking about funny stuff, so you will get a lot of day-to-day expressions, and you would understand how they're communicating, where the emphasis is, where the sarcasm is. That is really going to help. Plus, mix that up with comedy shows. So comedy shows like Friends, Big Bang Theory, all those things, listen to them as well. They also use a lot of phrases in day-to-day life, which you will hear in the CELPIP exam. Those things are the best resources to train your mind, not news. Don't listen to news. It's also very negative, so not good for your brain. The next thing we have is, okay, comedy shows, we talked about that. Imagine this. If you are in a coffee shop with 3 other friends, okay, so I'm trying to talk about part 5 here of CELPIP, when you have 3 people and you're the 4th person listening, right? Do you forget things that the friends are talking about? No, never. It never happens. You never really need to take notes when you are talking in a coffee shop with people, and you mostly remember everything that is being said. Why is that? The reason is you are the 4th person. You expect that they're going to talk to you, that you are responsible for responding, and our attention is always there because we're interested. We're a part of this conversation. Sometimes our 3 friends are talking and our turn to talk comes after a few minutes. Just assume that you are the 4th person sitting with them and you're going to say the next thing. And well, they're cutting you off, they're talking right now, but just imagine that you're the 4th person sitting there and listening. When you imagine this, you will feel responsible, really accountable and interested to listen to what they're saying, and you will be surprised at how much you can get in your brain. So just be a part of the conversation. Imagine like you have to respond next and give your opinion, and you will listen more carefully. It's a strange thing, but as I said, imagine you being in a coffee shop. Wouldn't you pay attention? And you would pay attention naturally. So we want to train our mind to do that. The next thing is writing fast. So you got to practice your writing speed. Your CELPIP materials will be limited as well, even if you purchase them from Paragon. If you have hours to practice this, what you should do is, again, go on an interview, and when you play that video on YouTube, start taking notes. Start practicing writing and listening very fast. Okay, do them simultaneously because your writing speed will determine how much notes you take, and those notes will help you answer the questions. You can never tell what kind of notes are important. You know, sometimes that's why they're tricky. Sometimes the really important stuff, which is mentioned with emphasis and slowly, is an answer. Sometimes the answers are things that you wouldn't even care about. You know, it's mentioned for 2 seconds and it's going to help you answering a question. So you have to write down every single thing, whatever you can. We don't know which notes are going to help us. So you write them down. For that, you need speed. So listen to the YouTube interviews and practice writing at the same time. Now, another thing, when you guys practice this, play some other noise on the side. So on my laptop, I have YouTube playing, right? I'm listening to my interview. On my phone, I'm gonna play something. Let's say I'm gonna play Barack Obama's speech. I'm gonna distract myself. Why I'm gonna do that is because a lot of students, when they go in the CELPIP exam, they don't know this and they realize it there, and they're so off their game when this happens. Other people are talking, right? So when you're doing the listening exam, either there are other people who are talking. Usually that doesn't happen because listening and speaking parts are very far apart, but it can happen. Someone might be at speaking, you will be at listening. You will hear them talk. That will distract you. You will see the invigilator moving around the room. That will distract you. You will hear typing, you will hear all sorts of noises, and that distracts people. And that's why if you practice distraction while listening at home, you will not fear that in the exam. You'll be way more prepared in the exam. Okay, so that's something you can do with practice as well. Another thing, I mentioned yesterday, if you don't have enough reading material for CELPIP, look at the IELTS reading material. Do it in the CELPIP format. Same thing with listening. When you go on YouTube, you can easily type IELTS listenings. There are thousands of those. Now what you do is simply play the audio. Don't look at the questions. Just play the audio, take notes. When there's a pause, then look at the questions and answer them. They'll be in a different format, but essentially you're training your brain and hands to have the same performance. Okay, so in IELTS, the questions are in front of you when you're listening. All you have to do, don't look at the questions. Just play the audio, write notes. When there's a pause, pause the video, and then look at your notes to answer questions. Simple. So you don't need to even buy material. You can do it this way. Distraction, we talked about that. And the final thing is listen again before. Okay, this is interesting. When you guys are practicing at home, of course, do some tests the way you would do it in the exam and then check answers. If you have more time though, it is going to be hugely beneficial for you to listen to a listening part and answer the questions. And these answers are your final answers. You don't get to change them. But listen one more time. Okay, listen one more time and then answer again and make a separate answer list. Now go to your answers, check them, and see which list was correct, the first list or the second list. You will realize a lot of things about you this way. Because when you listen to a part the second time, you start to understand the second time, I caught this, I missed this, and maybe I was too busy writing this, so that's why I missed this. And that's why you would notice differences in both answers, in both answer lists, when you listen to it the first time and the second time. So try to practice each listening twice and compare answers. You would learn a lot about your brain and about your performance. Try doing that, it'll amaze you. Okay, that's about it. Strategies, again, the main thing, strategies, which I haven't discussed, they are in the description here. Combine my strategies video with this video, it's going to be about like 40 minutes long of practice. So you have tons of stuff from my side on listening. I hope that helps. If it does, please subscribe, please like and comment. And if you have any questions, again, feel free to comment. Until next time, this is Sean, and tomorrow we're going to do our day 7, our final day of training. Hope this series helps you guys out, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Take care.